Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yuzul, the game is Star Trek Online, and welcome once again to the Tribble Timewarp. It is the 29th of June 2016, and we are once again looking at Agents of Yesterday. Which means that, yes, once again, this episode comes with a spoiler warning. If you do not want to get spoiled on the episode Terminal Expanse, or Temporal Expanse, unless they've decided what they're actually going to call it, then now would be a very good moment to stop watching this video. Before we go to the spoiler bit, however, there's a little bit of a bandwagon that I want to jump onto. Buried away in the video options menu, you will find this little setting here, Resolution Scale. It renders the game world, not the game interface, at a lower resolution if you turn it down. Normally this is a fix if you want to, say, do a 1080p resolution, but your graphics card isn't quite up to it. You can see that as I pull the slider to the left, we're getting blurrier and blurrier and blurrier. Most of that is down to the anti-aliasing. If I turn that off, you can see that now it's suddenly pixelated as a very pixelated thing, really. It's not looking too happy at all, is it? Let's turn this back up. So we've gone from resolution scale 0.5, so in effect 1/4 resolution. Crank it all the way back up to resolution scale 1.0, so normal 1440p. As you can see, it's not looking too shabby at all. Anti-aliasing is off, so there's still a few jaggies, most noticeably on this railing here and along there, and on the warp nacelles for the command cruiser, and in fact just about every other edge in the game. However, there is a little bit of a text hack you can use, and this is the bandwagon. /renderscale, and then type in a number. For God's sakes, don't type in a number much over 2 unless you value your computer, because of course render scale 2 effectively doubles up the resolution along both axes, quadruples the load on your system because you're pushing 4 times as many pixels. But there we go. As you can see, it's looking just that little bit nicer, and if I switch out one tab and switch in another, that should have done it. We definitely saw a quality shift, didn't we? I mean, look at the curves and look at the nacelles now. They are much nicer. Just type that in again. Remember how to type, that would help. Render scale 2. Yeah, there we go. So we are in render scale 2. And if I go back into the options menu, resolution scale 2.00. So cancel out of that. However, what I can see and what you can't is that my system has felt the load a little bit. It's still recording at a fairly steady 30 frames per second, but instead of slamming hard into the 60 frames a second mark for display, I'm getting about 50 frames a second. Now, it's not an issue at the moment. We're in space stock, and it's all shiny, happy, and friendly, but we'll see. The other thing, of course, is that I do actually need to turn the anti-aliasing back on as well. Let's kick up to MSAA 4 times. Yeah, that gives us a bit smooth. Much nicer on the railings there. You can see the difference that it's made. I'm not sure it's worth kicking up to 8 times. Yeah, it's still pretty smooth. Do you want to try the temporal anti-aliasing as well? I'm not actually sure that it's all that different, but Nvidia keep pushing it. Yeah, all very buttery and happy, and well, it's certainly neatened up the visuals a bit, most notably on the command cruiser's warp nacelles there, and on the curve of the escort's nacelles as well, all much smoother and happier. We will see, by the way, just how well this holds up once the phasers start flying. I should note, by the way, that my system is not top of the line anymore, but it's still fairly impressive. My rig is 2 GTX 780 Titaniums and a 5960X processor, so that gives you an idea of the kind of horsepower I've got in my rig. Yes, I can need that much if I'm trying to record at 1440. What can I say? There aren't many things that require it. But hey, Nvidia have put out their latest toys, and well, I'm eyeing up my bank balance and thinking, well, you know, maybe in a couple of months. Yeah, keep dreaming, Yuzul, keep dreaming. Anyhow, let's get on to today's mission and see just how gorgeous we can make this look. The latest mission in the Yesterday's War Arc is, of course, well, officially it's Terminal Expanse, but in some points in earlier versions of this, they do refer to it as Temporal Expanse. It gets a bit confused from time to time.
We have discovered that the sphere builders have been conducting operations in other universes. They aren't just looking to make changes in time, but in other dimensions as well. Their experiments in the parallel universe have produced results that will aid them in forming expanses here. We need to travel to that reality and stop the sphere builder research, while we still can.
So our old friends from Enterprise are back, and I don't mean Daniels. The sphere builders haven't given up on their nefarious plans, and we're going off to the Kelvin timeline. Yep, complete with lens flares on the bat'leths. It's kinda sweet, really. We'll accept the mission, and then we'll just transwarp to save some time. 20,000 energy credits to the Beta Quadrant. Alright, open the wallet, let's go. Here we are, and there we are. You see temporal expanse as opposed to terminal expanse. This is one of those things that just needs to be tidied up a little. So, welcome to the Delphic region, which is apparently a giant blue star these days instead of an insanity-producing cloud. Insanity optional unless you're Vulcan. Let's begin the mission. Right then, a couple of minor server hiccups later. We're in the Delphic region, it's the year 2260, and we're in the Kelvin timeline, better known as the J.J. Brahms timeline. So, hull layout and what's going to suggest they have Klingon design on the long-range sensors. We'll keep an eye on them. Daniels?
387, an incident created a quantum rift between our universe and this one. A Romulan ship accidentally traveled here through a singularity. They found themselves in 2233 and later destroyed the USS Kelvin in battle. This caused their timeline to differ from ours. As a result, we now refer to it as the Kelvin timeline. We believe the sphere builders communicate with their operatives through the rift.
Okay, operatives such as the Klingons who are notoriously reluctant to be other people's patsies.
Yes. In our timeline, they used the Xindi as a proxy force. I suspect they're doing the same thing here with the Klingons.
Okay, as I said, a formidable choice, although the Klingons generally don't like being anyone's proxy or patsy, and you really do need to see a plastic surgeon made. Happily, they seem to have tidied up the lip-syncing a little.
I'm reading multiple spheres under construction in this sector, as well as the wreckage of spheres. I suspect the local forces are trying to prevent an expanse from being formed.
Good, we may have some allies then. So, I'm just going to double check the render scale setting because I did get booted out to the login screen.
We need to neutralize it before the builders can create an expanse.
Yes, that would be very bad for the Vulcans on board, I am fully aware. And yep, there we go, it lost the render scale setting. This is something to bear in mind. If your render scale is set over 1, it does tend to drop the setting. But oh wow, the Sutherland looks pretty at this setting, doesn't she? And oh wow, my frame rate is starting to tank. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now down to 33 frames a second. Recording is still just about stable as 30. I apologise if there are any frame drops in what follows. This could get interestingly messy. Let's go. Approach the sphere. Okay. And we have contact. And
Starfleet Command, this is the USS Yorktown. We are under attack and require...
oops. Well, they're being jammed, so...
I do hope you come to fight, Patak. If not, you may whimper and wait for my blade at your throat.
the teeth still need work. That's all I'm going to say about the lip syncing here. Battle stations. Defends the Yorktown. Let's go blow up some Klingons. And... okay, right, they have put the D4X model in. Let's get a close look at that before we detonate it. Well, I'm sure there'll be some more around in a minute. Yes, that's nice, Daniels. Thank you. Now, if you excuse me, I need to get a close look at this D4X before it decides to explode, because that's not the standard E3 which we had in the early drafts of this mission. Excuse me. Okay, that's That's not too bad at all. It's a nice nod to the movie-verse Birds of Prey, isn't it? Okay, and where are the markings? Can't really get a good look while they're insisting on fighting. So you know what? Boomski. One. And just come round. Surgical engaged. Omega tac team. Goodbye. And 3. Oh, we have more coming. Yay! Birds of Prey. I was hoping for a little more variety. Maybe D7X, D6X, something like that. Otherwise, this just ends up feeling rather repetitive, really. The old 3 waves of 3 setup. Then again, they are some very pretty 3 waves of 3 drones, aren't they? Boomski. And speaking of pretty, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the USS Yorktown. Our first look at the...
This is the USS Yorktown. We are under attack by...
I'll get back to you. I'm sorry. I just need to have a good long gander at your ship. So, NCC 1717 Yorktown, sister ship, of course, to the... Well, I suppose we've got to start calling it the Kelvin prize. Let's just... Oh, no. Come back here. Of course, it's resetting the position, so hopefully it will sit still for a bit and we can drool over her at our leisure. All stop, all stop, all stop. Overshot a little. Come on, just sit still. You'll notice that she's much bigger than the TOS Constitution. That's because she was originally designed to be the same size as the TOS Constitution, but then they got to post-production and realised, oh hell, the shuttle bay isn't big enough, so we've got to rescale the entire ship. And the end result is something that's got the proportions of more or less the TOS Connie, but is 700 meters long, give or take, about the same as the Sutherland, a Fleet Arbiter class battlecruiser. In fact, she's actually bigger and displaces more. So, ladies and gentlemen, meet the contender, as Sir Boulevard put it, for Miss Ample Nacelles 2260. They really are very ample nacelles. And if you can go by the launch trailer that they were releasing on YouTube, I believe it was yesterday, day before, she may well end up playable, along with a certain much, much bigger Dreadnought. But, oh yeah, she's pretty. It is kind of nice that Cryptic and CBS have sorted out the rights issues, given that it was the 2009 movie that arguably gave STO a kickstart back at its launch. But yeah, that is enough drooling, I think. I've already ruined one keyboard this week. I don't need to damage any more. So, let's answer the hail.
Unidentified vessel. This is the USS Yorktown. We are under attack by Klingon boarding parties. Can you provide assistance?
Of course, Yorktown. We're on our way. Right, pick up weapons fire. You don't say. There are Klingons aboard. Energize the transporters. No, really, energize them, I'm sure. And welcome on board. The rest of the team is securing engineering. Yorktown's warp core is about to... Oh, it's about to go boom, is it? Fine, we'll secure the bridge. Oh, right, you left me here to deal with a load of angry Klingons. Fine. Well, at least I don't have deflector shields in this reality. Hey guys, that was a photon grenade. This is a shotgun. This is your imminent demise. And that is what it feels like when you wake up the morning after overdoing the Romulan ale. So, 718, for those of you who aren't familiar with him, he's a bit player in Into Darkness. He's on the bridge during their confrontation with the Vengeance, and I believe his origins actually get explained in the tie-in comics. Something vaguely going into an android who's had Enterprise's computer downloaded into his brain by accident. I forget the details. However...
Greetings. I am Science Officer 0718. Thank you for your very timely assistance.
You're welcome.
Could you see to Admiral Garrett's medical needs? I am currently interfacing with your crew and Yorktown's engineering systems to prevent a critical breach of the warp core.
We'll see to the Admiral. Keep me apprised. Interestingly, and I've noticed this in a couple of other playthroughs and my own previous playthrough as well, you kneel down when you go to this. I'm wondering if in an earlier version of this mission, 718 started out on the floor, offline, standby, unconscious, whichever term most closely applies to an android. However, we've got to go around and, well, we can start by fixing up Admiral Garrett. No, this is not the Admiral Garrett who, if you were in the TOS faction, left you to die. It's his counterpart. So, strictly speaking, I suppose, the...
Thanks. I'm not sure which Starfleet you're in exactly, but I'm guessing you won't mind giving my crew a hand here. The Klingons really did a number on us.
We'll do what we can, Admiral. So now let's go heal up the rest of them. And excellent, we're not about to explode. That is a good thing. Also, is it me or are we getting lens flares? No, I don't think we're getting lens flares in here. Be nice if we were. Be a nice little jokey touch to the series. But we are getting some reflections off the screen. And in a safety move, the screen actually has glass in it. So hey, they got one thing better than the old Harakaze ever did. So, let's assist the crewman. Patch you up. Patch you up. Don't mind the fact I'm standing on your groin.
I'm here to deal with these spheres.
You're welcome. Now, kindly put your... I'll put my head somewhere else. Thank you. Right, now let's go to the next one. Also, note to Cryptic, if we don't get these costumes as options, I'll be somewhat disappointed. Stabilize here, and...
Oh, my head's still spinning. That last Klingon photon hit sent me flying into the ops console. Head first.
Consider yourself lucky that it didn't explode, because that's what they do in our reality. The dizziness should pass soon, along with the concussion and... Okay, nice touch. She's phasering the floor. Maybe that concussion isn't going to pass anytime soon. And last but not least, oh hi Daniels. Let me see, we have our ops officer over here. Sorry, engineering officer. Up you get, Missy.
Thank you. I thought we were finished. Klingons weren't interested in taking prisoners.
Klingons don't take prisoners, Ensign. You should know that by now. Right, so everyone's back on their feet.
Putting out these fires.
Ah, well, one thing hasn't changed between our Garrett and this one. We still have to do everything for the man. Fire extinguisher from nowhere. There we go. And the Klingons caused some damage, but it's nothing they can't fix in time because, hey, it's a completely...
Over here after you put out the last one.
Oh, what does this screen say? Oh no, it's just generic. Nice touch though, although apparently the port side nacelle took a nasty hit right on the bracing to the strut. So better not try to go to warp anytime soon. And last fire goes out.
Over here.
Yes. I'm too busy admiring your bridge. It can wait. Can't it? Yep. There we go. All very nice and pleasant. Now,
Right.
Garrett.
We're about to begin sabotage operations on the sphere where the Klingons are. As you can see, Yorktown and her crew are in rough shape, but that thing needs to be neutralized. I count on you and your crew to help us finish the job.
Of course.
Glad to hear it. We've got explosives ready to go, but we'll need to find a proper infiltration point in the sphere. Work with my science officer to make that happen.
You're welcome.
Use the starboard console. Together we can triangulate our scanners.
Okay. Interesting that I don't think his lips synced during that line, so it seems to be something tied specifically to the regular chat windows rather than the little pop-ups you get inside. Anyhow, waggle, waggle, waggle the joysticks. Console players should be right at home.
Roll down. I believe we found a suitable location.
Have we? I didn't do anything. Right, 718. What do we got?
I have reviewed your proposed infiltration coordinates. They are tactically sound. We can commence operations at your command. Be advised, in previous encounters on board spheres, the occupants have been quick to mobilize their defense forces. Expect heavy opposition.
Understood. Let's move it out, people.
Yorktown to assist Admiral Garrett and his crew. We'll monitor your progress from the bridge and provide tactical updates as we can.
Wonderful. Beam us up, down, cross, left, right, sideways. Who knows? Get us onto that sphere somehow. Oh, and while you're here, see if what you can find out about a certain Vulcan that also went missing in that singularity. And, okay, no transporter effect, but... Okay, this is kind of pretty. Frame rate is holding in the mid-30s to mid-40s. And, right, let's go say hi to some Klingons. Hi there, mate. Yep, just stand still. Thank you. Oh, 718 came with us. I'm not sure why, but Not questioning it if he can shoot straight. In the meantime, shotgun. Again, okay, frame rate is now really suffering. My apologies if the video starts tanking. Ah, it's a Tutarian. Yes, look, I'm sorry about what we did to your homeworld. It was an accident, okay? In fact, no, it was what we did to your entire species, wasn't it?
The most effective stealthing tactic has been to trigger a critical series of detonations within their power suite. Such disruptions have resulted in destruction of a sphere.
Blow up the reactor. That's always been a good plan, even if it is the size of a, well, a small moon. However, the Klingons will doubtless object. Ooh, also we can raid their computers while we're at it.
2674. Despite attempts to compensate for transdimensional drift, the protocol initiation led to universal instability and, ultimately, entropic acceleration. Galactic habitable spaces, 0. Life signs, minimum. Project terminated.
Okay, just how many universes? Yeah, and they appear to have wiped out several thousand of them trying to get this project to work. Now, if you excuse me, we need to get up this. There we go. Right, okay, we have more Klingons. Right, well, have a grenade, guys. Officers, by the way, get shields. So we'll just grenade them out. And then it's shotgun time, boys and girls. Are we having fun yet? Yeah. Don't bunch up in corridors, although you do get marks of synchronized death animations. That was kind of impressive. A very expertly oriented bit of Klingon culture there. Right, pull him in, bunch him up, fires a grenade, and then wait for the boom. We have a Klingon shattering kaboom. And then it's just up close, personal, and in the back, because that's the best way. Frame rate still just barely coping at render scale 2. Really? We seem to be doing a pretty good job, Missy. Let's see, set bomb number 2.
I was part of the team that devised the sphere neutralization tactics aboard USS Enterprise. After our initial success, I was deployed to the Yorktown to share my expertise on such matters.
Your expertise so far has been blow up their power core. I think we figured that one out anyway, but your doubtless invaluable. Let's raid the files.
3331. The Expanse grew at an acceptable rate until it was discovered by the Iconian Dominion Alliance. After intense resistance, we were able to decimate their core systems with targeted micro-expanses. But their desperation assault in subspace led to a complete entropic breakdown and, ultimately, universal disruption. Galactic habitable spaces, 0. Life signs, indeterminate. Project terminated.
So that's 3,000 universes that they have junked trying to make this work. You have to admire the determination while simultaneously being horrified by the body count.
This data, they've exterminated entire galaxies with their experiments.
Yeah, I figured that one out, Daniels. Thank you. Right. And we know what's coming now. More Klingons. Hey guys, can we talk this one over? No? Well, sod you all then. Right then. Shotgun him, and if these guys are nicely bunched up, thank you, Les. Grenade away. Boomski. Yeah, frame rate is definitely suffering. So that gives you an idea of the kind of hardware you need to run render scale 2 at an acceptable performance. Ooh, cutscene.
It seems your alliance with the Klingons has been profitable, builders.
Okay, so we have the Envoy again, but he looks like he did... okay, he's not working on the same linear timeline as we are, is he?
The resistance has been disruptive to our progress. Your promises appear thin, our boy.
I assure you, all is going according.
Yeah, he's much less melted, isn't he?
Nothing they will do will keep us from our goal.
You were saying?
I see a familiar disruption has presented itself again.
A minor nuisance. I suggest letting your Klingons do what they do
I
best.
will deal with this disruption. It's time you learned prevail, intruder. You will fall to ruin.
Yes, yes, yes. Get on with it. Still, the Klingons are indeed doing what they're doing best. Dying horribly. Now, speaking of Klingons... Ah, hello, Contact. Can we talk?
You. I have had enough of you.
Wait, what? We never met. Oh, wait, have we met? Will we have met? Did we meet last week? This is going to be another Queen Elizabeth moment, isn't it? Is there any chance we can discuss this like rational beings?
The Tutarians were a peaceful race until your misbegotten alliance committed an act of genocide. We were all but annihilated. Only a scant few of us escaped to safety, lost and forgotten within a dimensional void.
That was an accident!
The envoy has given us the means to manipulate events. We had begun to undo the damage you have done to us. Quantum realms such as this are ours to study without risk to our own. And should this realm unravel, there is an infinite number of realms remaining to us.
Which is a bit of a pisser if you're native to one of those infinite realms. So yeah, that's just a little hypocritical.
Yes, just as you were willing to do so to achieve your goals. Do not presume to judge me, murderer. The Expanse protocol will wipe you from existence, and with your passing, bring justice to my people at long last.
718, we really need to pull the plug on this thing, kinda now.
Something is happening. The sphere is emitting a high level of thermobaric radiation. We must complete our objective at once.
Oh great, we're about to be simultaneously cooked and crushed. Excellent. You could have warned me that you were making a gigantic microwave. Oh, we got Klingons. Hey guys, right, let's just pull in the duplicates. Make this even more interesting. Yoink. And... oh, in the back, there we go. Best way to deal with a Klingon. Alternately, in the head. Oh, gonna waste a sniper shot there, that's a bit unfortunate. Hey, speaking of in the back, that's my move. Hang on, was that a new melee strike? Yes, I think it was. I mean, normally it's the butt smash, but I'm fairly sure I just tried to use it like a club instead of shoving him backwards. So, let's see if we can do that again. You, get over here. No, butt strike, butt strike. There we go. That was a clubbing attack. That was a different animation.
Prepare the final charge for detonation.
Okay, bomb time. Also loot time, and get stuck on the geometry time. Okay. Ooh, apparently they have Rectagino in this universe as well. Now, excuse me while I try to unpick myself from the geometry. Yoink, yoink. Part of this might just be lag issues with the server. Tribble is not as powerful as Holodeck, but some slightly weird geometry going on if that's the case.
We can return and initiate the detonation chain on your command.
Right, let's go. Oh, and don't forget to...
4472. Projections indicate increased habitable living area and expanse growth rate. Early estimates suggest a 500% increase. Local resistance, primarily from this realm's version of the Federation, has been crude but effective. Deploying Klingon proxy forces at key sphere deployments should alleviate this concern.
Yay! Downloads the data. And yep, this is this universe's quantum signature, as though we hadn't actually worked it out. I mean, it only took them 4,500 wiped out universes to get this to work. Unfortunately. Right, so we can withstand it for a little before the crew succumbs, and it's likely going to be worse on the Yorktown. Right, so before everyone goes bonkers, let's get this done. Ooh. The Edulg Combat Cruiser. Fine. Okay, so that is subnucleonic. Right, and they're jamming us. Lovely. And what was that? Not sure, but they're throwing anti-protons and I think it's chronotons around. Wasn't really paying attention. Make a quick firing pass, knock this guy down, and that's a gravity well, fairly potent one. Gravwell 3, I would say, from the fact that it's kind of trying to pull us in even at full throttle. Yeah, that I think was Gravity Well 3. Normally, Gravwell 1's just a nuisance. Anyhow, recalibrate the communications. Make it so. While we deal with these frigates. Right, what have they got? Whoa. I tell you, like, are those anti-protons? Let's take a look. Radiation damage, anti-proton damage, physical damage, channel deconstruction, chronoton torpedoes, thermobaric radiation, and yeah, looks like anti-proton as their main weapon. Let's just patch up the hull. Hazard emitters engaged. And then, whoop, 1 chronoton and 1 dead frigate. Boomski! Well done, Yorktown. 1 nice little pincer movement. So, now that we're more or less in one piece, sod it, just more power! Give the comms more power! So, because it's hot and it's pressurized, it's messing with your comms. What are you using? Radio? Recalibration complete, but we have a battleship incoming. And that little thing it's using does not look very friendly at all. Okay, so break away for a second. This is not good. This is not good at all. Evasive maneuvers, brace for impact. I do not like the look of that purple sphere that we've got. Swing back and full guns. Hit him. Also, put the hull back together. They've got a lot of abilities that go clean through our shields, haven't they? Not that it really mattered, because we just hammered his shields down full stop. So, nick the shields, nick the impulse drives, and... Whoa, what just dropped our shields? Energy refrequencer, phases offline immunity, scratch the paint synergy amp, and now they're back. So I'm not sure what did that at all. However, establish final link.
I have established a link to the charges on the sphere, ready to activate on your command.
And to quote a certain captain, do it, do it, do it.
Detonation's complete. The sphere is neutralized.
I'll say. And it was a self-disposing corpse as well. Okay, maybe it wasn't a self-disposing corpse. We appear to have a fully intact sphere here. Yorktown, that bomb didn't quite work as advertised. That's a little bit of a problem. However, we're on our way to the final debriefing. I assume they'll fix that eventually.
Nice work over there.
Thank you.
It was rough for a moment, but you both...
Oh, hello, future guy.
I'll see you back on the ship, sir.
Yeah, you do that. What is making that pinging noise?
Something has happened elsewhere.
Yeah, we noticed. The Envoy and Daniels. Yeah.
For another time, perhaps.
Oh, ha ha.
In the end, you came through for us. On behalf of Starfleet and the Yorktown crew, thanks.
Indeed. Safe travels to you and your crew.
Indeed. We'll just nick the plans for your ships while we're here. Also... Alright, that's our character speaking, so... Oh, crew abruptly stood up, officer leaving the room. I appreciate the gesture, ladies and gentlemen. Little late, however. So that brings us to the end of either terminal expanse or temporal expanse, depending on your point of view. So, few problems, mostly to do with audio balance. I don't know how much that's going to make it through to the video, but a lot of the time, things like that beeping in the final bridge scene and general background sound effects were very definitely out of whack compared to other missions. I haven't touched my audio settings pretty much all the way through this series of the Time Warp. It's always been the same. So that does need to be looked at. They need to sort out the episode name, Temporal Expanse versus Terminal Expanse. And beyond that, well, maybe popping a few runs around the geometry, I think it's a pretty good mission. And it's nice to see at least a nod to the Kelvin Prize timeline. Kelvin timeline, Kelvin Prize, JJ Prize. What the hell. They sorted out the rights issues. So hopefully that will allow us to get a few more people interested in the game with the new movie coming out. So let's just hail Daniels and wrap this up. Envoy, what have you got for us? Okay, the Envoy's been busy since I was meeting. No audio on this at the moment, and you're really not looking good, mate. However, fortunately, etc, etc, etc. Pick up some dilithium. The timeline backlith I already have, so you can just pick up some cheap universal consoles. Honestly, they're not great. I mean, by this stage, you've got weapon-specific consoles to work with, so I honestly don't know why anyone's going to be interested in these, except as possibly some easy energy credits. However, that's just my opinion. Maybe consider replacing these with phaser, disruptor, etc. Just me. Anyhow, that resolves Terminal Expanse, and that concludes today's render scale 2 version of the Tribble Time Warp. I am probably not going to attempt that again. The rig could not quite cope. As I say, once again, my apologies for any frame rate drops that have occurred during the video. There's really nothing I can do to fix that, bar dropping a lot of money on a more powerful graphics card. And it really will be a lot of money. If you excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Yuzul, that has been the Tribble Time Warp, and I need to go see what kind of price I can get for a spare kidney. Until then, farewell.